Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks so much for watching. If you are new here, my name is Erica. I live in Houston, Texas, and I love to do grocery hauls, big batch videos, and just vlogs in general to share my life with you guys. Today I have an H-E-B grocery haul. It is a haul. It is just under $200 worth of food. And I wanted to quickly go through the menu for this week and then I'll show you everything I got. I did stop by the clearance section, found a couple items there. I found some items, some meats that were discounted, so I'll tell you about that also. But for this week upcoming, we only have a few days planned because we're gonna be going out of town this Saturday for a quick trip to Corpus Christi for my brother-in-law's birthday. So on Monday, I'm gonna be doing an herb salmon with asparagus. This is a quick and easy meal that I do all the time. It is just about 15 minutes of the salmon in the toaster oven. I use my little Breville toaster oven. It works great. I don't have to heat up the whole house with the bigger oven. And I'll do asparagus for that as well. I love to do quick and easy meals like this on the weeknights when I know I'm gonna have a really busy day. I know I have a busy day coming up tomorrow for work, so when I get home, I'm not gonna wanna do a lot. Just something easy, something that I know, something that is just mastered now. I don't have to follow a recipe. I can kind of just make it up as I go. Tuesday, I am gonna try a new recipe. I'm gonna do Tex-Mex meatballs with some rice cauliflower. I have not made these meatballs before, but they sound really good, and they use Chipotle's and Adobo sauce, which I always love. Wednesday, another new recipe, a Tuscan bean soup. I was unable to find the kale that I needed for this soup at H-E-B, but since it's gonna be until Wednesday that I'm making it, or not until Wednesday that I make it, I think I'll have time to pop back in H-E-B and see if they have the correct kale that the recipe calls for. Thursday, it's gonna be Adam's eating on his own. I have dinner with my friend Jenny and Allison, and I don't know where we're gonna go or what we're gonna do, but I know that we've already planned to go out to dinner together that night. So Adam's on his own. He'll probably just eat leftovers, which is why I also did a couple larger items. So the Tex-Mex meatballs, I'm gonna actually double that recipe, and I'm gonna use part deer meat and part ground beef for it. And then the Tuscan bean soup will also, again, it's a soup, it's always a big pot of things. So I think that will be plenty of leftovers for him to have something to eat that day and not have to worry about making anything. Friday, I'm gonna do chicken fried deer meat. So kind of like a chicken fried steak, but we use deer cutlets. I'll be using mashed potatoes to go alongside with that, as well as green beans, and I'll make some gravy. I did buy a gravy packet, but I always like to stretch it a little bit by adding my own ingredients to it. I was going to do fresh green beans, but they were completely out at H-E-B. I think they had a sale going on, so there was like 3 or 4 green beans at the bottom of the bin. So I just went by and grabbed some frozen ones. And then that brings us to Saturday and Sunday, and we will actually be in Corpus Saturday and Sunday night. And then Monday when we come back, I think I'm gonna do a mushroom risotto. I didn't pick up all the ingredients for that just because I know that I will have time on Monday, since we'll be off from work on Monday. Driving back, I'll have time to stop by the grocery store and grab that. And then if I need anything else for next week, hopefully I have enough groceries to last me for a week and a half, since I did spend quite a bit of money. But I did have some toiletry items that I had to purchase, as well as I bought a lot of extra meat that was not on the list originally, but I got a great deal, and they're all things that I can freeze. All right, this is the haul. Adam is out of town right now, and I really, really wish he had been home for this, because I think I made 3 trips myself to the car to bring all these in, and then my sister heard me and she ran downstairs and made another trip with me. So he definitely missed hauling it in. That's okay though. Starting over here with the produce, I have 10 limes. These were 5 for $1, so I grabbed $2 worth. Again, I just put these up here and, you know, use them or they go bad. So I like to have fresh citrus around the house all the time, just in case I want to make a marinade or a cocktail, or somebody wants a lime for their Dos Equis. That's what those are there for. I picked up a couple bell peppers. I don't have a plan for these. These were just some items that I was like, you know what, I'll put these in there. In the fridge. I thought maybe if Adam wanted to make a breakfast hash one day or something, he could use this for that. So 1 green, 1 red. I picked up some jalapenos. This is for those Tex-Mex meatballs. Just 2. I like to leave these in the bag in the produce store. The rest of my produce I normally take out. There's a few things I leave in, but I like to leave these because I don't like them rubbing off on me and getting you know, all the pepper on your fingers. as well as you can actually just put your hand in the bag from the exterior and put your hand in and use it kind of like a glove when you're cutting it. And if you don't have any gloves, I find that my skin is really sensitive to the jalapenos, and I frequently get it all over me and my fingers are stinging, and then I touch my face and it's just a nightmare. 3 sweet onions. I have a couple onions left here still, but several of the recipes this week used onions, so I grabbed some. These over here are actually yellow onions, which I don't normally purchase, but my next door neighbor moved and just kind of brought us the rest of their food and produce that they had like left over in the house. So we were able to grab some onions for free, so that was really nice. Couple avocados. I did get these kind of firm, so I'll leave them out until they are ripe, and then I will put them in the fridge. Roma tomatoes. Adam has been coming home for lunch basically every day now when he's working, unless he has like a client lunch he's going to. So I like to keep just like easy salad, sandwich, wrap stuff on hand, which is abnormal for us, but if we don't have leftovers, he'll grab some sandwich bread or wrap bread and make a wrap, or he'll make a salad. I got some of these Cumato sweet tomatoes. I love these. And I have some mozzarella left in from my Costco haul that I did. And I thought this with some balsamic vinegar would be a great snack. I picked up some parsley. I like to leave this in the bag as well until I use it the first time, and then I'll kind of like wash it all and do something with it then. But I'll leave it in the bag until then, because I feel like you just get little pieces of parsley in the whole produce store, and that's not fun for anybody. I have some cauliflower. This will be for the rice cauliflower. I picked up some potatoes. We have a couple still left, but I didn't know how many we were going to end up using for the mashed potatoes, so I just grabbed some. We'll probably end up using those next week for another menu item. Romaine hearts, again, for quick wraps or salads. Love to have romaine in the fridge. Some dairy items I got. Whole milk. We still have some almond milk. So the whole milk was just what I wanted picked up today. Sharp cheddar, again, for some wraps. Parmesan for everything. I think I buy Parmesan every week. We are always putting Parmesan on top of stuff. Some sour cream, my favorite condiment. Bacon. I got a couple things of bacon. These are really expensive. I feel like it's like $4 for 12 ounces, but this is the favorite kind we have so far, and I think if I find a brand at Costco that I really like, I will buy it there to try to get a better discount, but right now we're going with this. I did buy Costco bacon 2 Costco hauls ago, I think, and I did not like it. It was very fatty, and this one has a much better mix of the meat and the fat so that you get some crispy fat pieces, but also you have the meat there. The Costco stuff was not like that, so I did not enjoy that. I'll just go ahead and do the rest of the meats while we're talking about that. Ground pork. I got 2 big, huge things of ground pork. This is what the stickers look like at H-E-B in the meat section if you're going to get the discount. And basically it says it's a special today. It's 25% off today only. So the reason for that is this is really originally $4.65. There is just over 2 pounds in here, and it says sell by the 1st. That the 1st is tomorrow. Freeze by or sell, freeze or sell by is what it says. So what do? I freeze it. This is a huge trick of mine to save money, especially when it comes to the more expensive grass-fed and organic type of meats. They frequently go on sale like this at my H-E-B. I guess there's just not a demand for certain items. So this is not grass-fed or natural, but this is the large pack of the ground pork, and what I'll do with this is I will actually add 2 pounds of ground beef to this and make meatballs with it. I do Italian meatballs with this. So each one of these will become a batch of meatballs. So excited to have that. So I'll just put this into the freezer as is. If I had gotten a larger package of something that I don't normally use frequently, I would go ahead and cut it up and put it into individual bags, label it, put it into the freezer. But these, I know exactly what I'm going to do with them. I will take this ground pork, add 2 pounds of ground beef, and make meatballs. I picked up another package of ground beef. We are running low on the stuff that we got from my mom's friend who raises cattle, so I have 1 package left in there. And for the Tex-Mex meatballs, I need 2 pounds of ground beef and 1 pound of deer meat. So I picked up this one. It was on sale for $5.99. It's originally $6.99, but it did not ring up that way. So you really have to be careful when you have things that are on sale, when you're walking around the grocery store. Make note of those items that are on sale, or in general, just make note of any prices. If you have a good memory and you can remember what the price was when you picked it up, keep an eye on it, and then when they start scanning the items, check and see what they're scanning it up for. So I paused and stopped and said, excuse me, that was actually $5.99, not $6.99 as it rang up. And she says, oh, okay, sure. And she just went back in, changed the price. They take your word for it. You know, obviously be honest about it, but if something's not right, tell them and they will correct it for you. So that's what I did here to make sure that I got the $5.99, because if it was not $5.99, there was another brand that was $5.99 that wasn't organic. It was grass-fed, but it wasn't organic, and I would have just gone with that one. But this one was on sale and it was a higher quality, so I wanted to make sure that I got my sale price. I also got some more grass-fed beef here. These are grass-fed and finished, so this is not organic, but this is, and this was kind of like the difference in the price here. And so if I had bought this in a package that was this size, this would have been $6 originally, whereas this was $7. So this one is not organic, but it is 4 hamburgers in here, and the price on this is $7.99, but I got 25% off. So originally $8, 25% off. I got this for $6. Now you might say, okay, well, this is $6. Erica, you said you could buy a pound this package for $6 at the store. What makes this a deal? What makes this a deal is each one of these patties in here, I don't know if you can see it, each one of these patties is, here it says it there easier, is 1/3 of a pound. So this is more than 1 pound. There are 4 1/3 of a pound burgers in here. So basically what I did is I got an extra burger, or an extra 1/3 of a pound, for the price of 1 pound. So that's why this makes this a good deal. That's why I picked up 2 of them. Sometimes I do clean out the 25% rack whenever there's things over there. In H-E-B, they actually do them in each of their own sections. They don't move them to a special place. At Kroger, they move them all to a special place, and you have to go find that special place to get the deals. But at H-E-B, they put them there individually. Sorry about that. My battery died. But as I was saying, you have to check out the sections and look for the sticker or look for the section. And with this, I may use these for burgers, or I may just like defrost them and then turn them into meatballs or whatever. They're not seasoned or anything. They're just already put into a patty form for you. So I definitely will just throw these as is into the freezer. I'm not going to change them and wrap them in a different container. I picked up some salmon. So I wanted to get some salmon for my herb salmon that we're doing tomorrow. This is 2.825 pounds, and it is 7.97 cents per pound. So $8 per pound, basically $22. It's a huge piece of salmon. Adam and I will not eat this in one sitting, but when I went to the seafood counter and checked out the price on the Atlantic salmon, it was $10 a pound to buy it from the seafood counter. Already wrapped in this club pack, it's only $8 a pound. So I saved $2 per pound by being able to buy it in bulk. I understand that being able to buy in bulk is truly a privilege, but if you can afford it in your budget that week, I would recommend that you start to do it at least for the items that you know that you use all the time. So if there's something you use all the time, check out the bulk price and then break it up yourself. So that's what's going to happen with this. I'm going to put it in the fridge now as is. Today is Sunday. So tomorrow when it comes back around for time to make dinner, I'm going to cut this in half, hoping to get a clean cut. And then one of the pieces is going to go into the freezer and the other piece will go into the oven for dinner. That's all of the meat section. Go back to some drinks back here. I picked up some Waterloo. I got the grape kind and the lemon lime kind. I will probably not buy Waterloo at H-E-B ever again. This was $6 for a 12 pack. And I'm pretty sure the last time we went to Costco, it was like $8 for 24. And I just feel like I got screwed on that one. Like that was a ripoff. But we drink sparkling water every day and we're out, and I did not feel like running over to Costco just to get sparkling water. But next time I will be stocking up way more than I did last time on my sparkling water, so I can avoid having to pay this fine basically for not going to Costco. I got some kombuchas. These were on sale, $2 each, or 2 for $4. And I got a couple different kinds. I know Adam likes this blackberry vanilla. He also likes the peach Bellini, and I like the raspberry hibiscus. I don't know if he's gonna drink these, but I just thought I would get some flavors that I know he likes in case he wants one. I picked up some wine. I got some Carmenere for after I finish my huge pile of laundry over there. Carmenere is gonna be my reward. This is Natura Carmenere, and I really do like this. This is probably one of the few that I think you can find like everywhere. It is made of organic grapes, and I have found it in grocery stores all over the place. Walmart's. I found it at the Piggly Wiggly in Alabama. So lots of different places. Made of organic grapes. Natura is the brand, and it's really good. It's gotten more expensive over the years. I think this is now $11 a bottle. And I don't normally buy any of my wines from H-E-B, but I was there. I wanted a reward for that laundry. Really, I just want motivation to do the laundry, and so a nice bottle of Carmenere will do the trick. I picked up some Pinot Grigio. This was only, I think, $7 for this Pinot Grigio. $1.20 is another Chilean brand, Santa Rita. And I will use this in the soup I have upcoming this week, and so that's what that's for. I normally, again, wouldn't buy my wine at H-E-B, but I needed this and I wanted that, so that's what happens. I got a container of this kosher baby dills, these pickles. My sister loves these and she buys them all the time, and I just find myself like opening her jar and eating one, so I'm like, I need to buy her some also. I had actually picked out 2 jars. I had picked up 2 jars and drove around with my little shopping cart, and then when I got to the conveyor belt, I picked one up and went like this and set it down, and I had pickle juice on my hands. And so I realized, I pressed the little top and I was like, this one, somebody popped the top on this one. So I told the lady, I was like, hey, you know, this one is already popped. I just noticed it. I don't want it anymore. And she was like, okay, no worries. And she just like put it aside for them to like mark that, you know, somehow the top was popped. But it was like, oh, I'm glad that I had picked up 2 because I really only needed 1, and here I am with the 1. I was not going to go back to get 1 if that was the only one I had. I got some sourdough bread. This sourdough is so good at H-E-B, and they have it pre-sliced for you. If you go to H-E-B and they don't have any that are sliced, and it's like regular daytime hours, like not 9 o'clock at night, you can very politely ask the bakery if they will slice it for you, and they will. So this is sliced in a good size for sandwich bread, but you can also find some that are unsliced. Like there was some rosemary sourdough there, and it was unsliced. And you could have asked them to slice that one if you wanted them to do that. They will do that for you very politely, and no charge, same price, sliced or unsliced. This was $3.48 for this loaf, but it's really good. I have to be careful though because we don't eat a lot of bread. We'll probably make a couple of grilled cheese with this, but then if it's gone a couple days and we haven't eaten all of it, I'll have to put the rest in the freezer because it will grow mold very quickly because it is fresh bread. Okay, I picked up some of this gravy mix. Again, this is gonna be for that country fried, or chicken fried, country fried, whatever you wanna call it, deer meat. So those deer cutlets, I'm gonna use this, and I'll use some of the drippings from the deer. When I actually fry it, I'll grab a little of the oil out of there to make this up. I grabbed some of my dill dip. Last week, I very unsuccessfully tried to make my own dill dip, and it was atrocious. I had to throw it out after 2 weeks because I guess I made it 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I threw it out today because I was like, this is not gonna get eaten. I don't like it. It's not the same. So I need to find a doppelganger recipe to make this on my own because this is expensive. It's $1.74 for this little packet of seasoning, and I know I could make my own. There's not a lot of crazy ingredients in here, but I would like to make my own that doesn't have MSG in it because this has MSG in it. So if you guys have a recipe, drop that in the comments below and let me know. You would think it'd be as easy as reading the ingredients on the back, but it's not because these ingredients are non-descriptive. It's maltodextrin, salt, MSG, dill, spices, onion, garlic, modified food starch, flavoring, dried stuff, whatever. So the problem here is the spices. What are the spices? That's what I need to know. So if you have a recipe, let me know. It would save me money. I would really appreciate it, and I will give you a shout out next time when I don't have to buy it. Okay, moving on, Chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. If you go to the international aisle, these are on that aisle. So if you ever have a recipe that calls for that, you're gonna wanna look for like the Hispanic section of the foods. And there's several different brands that do this. This was the cheapest one. That's why I picked it up. $1.19 a can. The other brand was $1.78 for the can. So it was like a big difference for the same size. These are very hot and spicy, so I like it. You have to like cut them up, or I like to just throw them in my blender and puree them. And I might, because the recipe that I have only calls for 2 tablespoons, I am doubling it, so I'll have 4 tablespoons. Well, this 7 ounces is definitely more than 4 tablespoons. I might just blend it up, separate out what I need, and then freeze the rest of it. Kind of like how people like freeze tomato paste. Similar to that, I will probably do that. Okay, I finally got my coffee. So I haven't addressed this yet, but yes, I live in Texas. We live in Houston. I'm actually gonna talk to you guys for a second. So I live in Houston, in Texas. So this is actually my first time to go to the grocery store in maybe 3 weeks. Right before the winter storm came, I was prepared. We were stocked. We had plenty of water. We had plenty of supplies. We had tons of food in the house, because we always have tons of food in the house because we like to eat. I like to cook different things, like to have things available. I love to have food on hand in case somebody just shows up and like wants to pop in for dinner. Like, I like to have food prepared or food ready that I can quickly prepare for that, because I love to host. I love to entertain, and if somebody is hungry when they come over, I want to make sure I have a meal ready that I can make ready quickly. But we were very fortunate in that, because I was prepared. If you watch my Kroger haul that was posted last, I had bought an extra thing of milk that I didn't need, and I mentioned that, like, oh, I just bought it because I had the coupon. Well, that was crucial for us, because that was kind of like the level of when we had to go to the grocery store. We had milk the whole time, which we use milk in our coffee. Adam uses milk to like help soothe his acid reflux that he gets. And milk is definitely like a threshold for us. Like, if we were running out of milk, like, we gotta go to the grocery store. And luckily we didn't have to go to the grocery store, because I had bought that and I was prepared, and we had extra food, and we didn't suffer. We have a full freezer full. We lost power for 23 hours one day, and we didn't have clean water from that Wednesday until Sunday. So we had to boil our water on the stove. We had backup reserve water that I keep here at the house. I like to keep 10 gallons in the house. We shared water with our neighbors because they didn't have water. And yeah, it was very interesting because we couldn't leave the house. We didn't actually physically go to work for the whole week. And because we have such small offices, Adam and I have been going in person to work every day. So it was just a really interesting time, but because I had been prepared, we were perfectly fine. I mean, I was trying to pull out any food that I could. All those peanut butter jars that you guys see me talk about all the time for my Kroger hauls, those were donated to my neighbor who is collecting, actually she's collecting coats for the homeless. And I just messaged her and I said, hey, like, are they collecting peanut butter too, or like food at all? Because I'd love to just give some peanut butter in case somebody doesn't have food right now. So we did that and we were fine. Our home had no damage. The water was not running through the pipes for a period of time, and then when it came back, we were on a boil notice, so we had to boil all of our water before we used it. I still felt like after I boiled it, there was like a film on the top. So I would boil that water and then filter it again in our Brita pitcher for us to actually drink and make coffee with and cook with and all that sort of stuff. So it ended up being okay for us, but others were not as fortunate, and I am 100% aware of that because some people had their homes just completely damaged. We didn't lose any of our food in our house because we have a generator. So after a couple hours of not having power in the home, my husband hooked up the generator, turned it on, and plugged up my deep freezer and my refrigerator. That is an incredible privilege to be able to do that. Other people were not as fortunate, and so I have truly and honestly stayed away from the grocery store the past few weeks since we've kind of been recovering, because other people need food more than we do right now, and other people need access to those ingredients more than we do. So I waited and waited to go to the grocery store, which is why you haven't seen a haul, because I haven't gone to the grocery store, because other people need that food. And when that milk gets put on the shelf the first time, there are children that need it more than we need it for our coffee. So I waited until the absolute last time that I could, the latest time in which I could go. And this is the first milk that I purchased since the Kroger haul that you guys saw, which was technically 3 weeks ago, I guess, when I actually filmed that video. So if you are out there, say a prayer for Texas and everybody who's still recovering. The grocery stores are still not the same. There were still empty shelves. There was still a lack of freezer food because they had to throw a lot of the food out at the grocery stores. So that is why this is such a big haul. But to bring it back around, I now have my coffee again. I ran out of the coffee during the winter storm, and we had to start using this like backup Trader Joe's coffee that I normally make my cold brew with, which was, it was sucky. Like, I really don't like it. So I'm glad now that they have this and I'm able to go to the grocery store and it's not such a big deal anymore. So whole bean, medium roast, Taste of San Antonio. I like to get the big container because it is cheaper. This whole bag is about $18, which ends up being just like $1 or so cheaper than buying it individually. But it's really, to me, it's more about the sustainability of buying the big package versus a bunch of smaller packages. So it's got cinnamon, chocolate, and vanilla flavors in it. It is a little bit of a wetter bean, which is kind of odd. My grinder doesn't grind as much of it as fast as it does if you have a dry bean, but this is my absolute favorite coffee, and we love to drink this coffee every day. So I would highly recommend it if you go to H-E-B, pick that up. Couple more pantry items is some ranch dressing. We needed some more, so I picked up 2 because the one in the fridge is almost out. So I'm gonna put this one in the fridge to replace it and then put this one in the pantry for our backup. Adam, that's his dressing of choice. That's his condiment. My condiment is the sour cream. I picked up a couple things of chicken broth. I like to get the reduced sodium, 33% less sodium. H-E-B also now has a no salt one, but I'm so used to cooking with the one that's reduced sodium. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that and just do that. I may at some point get the no salt one and do a little taste test and see if there's really much of a difference in flavor. But I do like to get that for that soup I'm making later this week. I got some panko breadcrumbs. This is going to be for the Tex-Mex meatballs. It actually called for this, and in general, I don't have any breadcrumbs in the pantry, so I just thought, why not? I will do this. Normally, if there's breadcrumbs that are like included in a recipe list, in an ingredient list, I will just like pulse up my own bread in the blender and like call it a day, because I just don't like feeling of having to like keep breadcrumbs around all the time. But these were inexpensive, and I just grabbed them for those Tex-Mex meatballs so I could try to stay as true to the recipe as possible. When it's a recipe I've been making for a while, that's when I'm more like, we'll just crunch up some crackers, it'll be fine. And as I actually picked these up, I had just like a little like flashback to like when I was younger and first learning how to cook. So these are plain panko breadcrumbs, the H-E-B brand. They actually have an H-E-B brand of these. They also had teriyaki, Italian, and a couple other kinds of breadcrumbs. And I just remember when I was like 12 and 13 years old, going to the H-E-B in Waco, Texas, following a recipe. Of course, it was probably like Alton Brown or Bobby Flay or Jetta De Laurentiis or Rachel Ray or one of those like OG Food Network people. I was following one of the recipes, and it called for panko breadcrumbs, and you couldn't find them anywhere. And today, when I just walked up to the shelf and plucked one of these off, like, and there was like 4 other like varieties, I was like, wow, like that's how far we've come with this ingredient chain and this food chain that we have. And now I can just find panko breadcrumbs in my grocery store, when growing up, you couldn't find this. This was not an ingredient they had. They'd have like just like the little jar kind of container, the shaker full of breadcrumbs, and they did not have panko. And if they did, it surely wasn't the HEB brand. It was a Japanese brand, and it was way more expensive than regular breadcrumbs. So kind of a cool feeling for me. I know that was like 18 years ago, but in 18 years, just being able to source ingredients that, you know, the recipe actually calls for is a privilege. And it's really cool to see that that's like come back around, because there were so many times as a child that I would go and look for ingredients, you know, trying to follow this recipe that I found on foodnetwork.com, and they just wouldn't have it, and I'd have to learn how to substitute things. And that's one of the things that like really drove me to continue to cook, because I would learn how to substitute things and feel like a badass because I made the recipe without the exact ingredient it called for. Au gratin potatoes. So I got these, I picked these up. Betty Crocker, don't normally buy stuff like this, but it was 62 cents. 62 cents on the clearance rack. In HEB, they actually have a little section now that they have the clearance stuff near. It's actually near the frozen foods. So I just picked this up. I thought this would be an easy like thing. Even if like Adam were to like make dinner for me one night, he could just do this quickly, and I just throw the box at him and be like, follow the instructions. So quick side for another day. Borracho beans. I picked these up when I was looking for my cannellini beans. We like this brand a lot. Well, obviously it's the HEB brand, but we like this version a lot with the Shiner Bock. Borracho is kind of like charro beans. So basically it's more of like a soup style of a bean. So cook it on the stove, and you're gonna have a lot of extra juices in there. You don't drain it off. You eat that as well. I got some of these Great Northern beans. I got 2 of these containers. They did not have any cannellini beans at all. Like the 2 sections where they would normally have cannellini beans were gone completely, and I'm suspecting that's because of the winter storm and just not having, you know, those being shipped in because they're not a high priority item. So I described a couple of these, and I'm going to substitute them for the cannellini beans in the recipe that I'm making, the Tuscan bean soup. This was another thing I found. It was elderberry. So with this elderberry, it was $10. So $10, and it says the original price was $30. Remember, again, if you get these things on sale, check the expiration date. This one doesn't expire until I'm sorry, I can't read it through the camera. October 2022. So we have time for this, but elderberry is good for your immune system. When the pandemic first started, it was really difficult to find this anywhere. So it's interesting to me that now it's on sale because the pandemic is not over. So people still need to be boosting their immune system. We normally get it in the gummy version, but this is just a pill version. So I'm just going to pop this open and put it into my pill container because I take so many vitamins and supplements. I'll just add that to the list. The last 2 things are going to be green beans, French cut. I thought I would get the French cut because I had to go frozen and not fresh because of the sale that they had and all the green beans were gone. So I thought, why not? I'll go a little fancy. And something that's not fancy, Totino's pizza rolls. I wanted to get like one of those like Totino's pizzas to like just have like as my like lunch today basically, but they didn't have that. So I just grabbed some pizza rolls and thought I'll pop a few in there, you know, after I've spent all this time sourcing all of these vegetables and fruits and like specialty ingredients. I'm just gonna have Totino's pizza rolls for lunch. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I am about to put this up and jump on the laundry train so that I can enjoy my wine later. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And don't forget, if you know of a good doppelganger recipe, leave it below. I will love you forever. Bye.